I've been waiting to make this video for around 2 years now, and I finally feel like I am in a place where I can sit down and make it, and I'm so excited because I have accumulated so much advice to share with you guys and so much guidance in the area of this video, which if you clicked on it, you know it's all gonna be about heartbreak. Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be not like different from other videos that I usually do, but it's just sort of a video that I've wanted to make for so long, but I haven't wanted to make it until I felt like I can really do what the video intends to do, which is to guide anyone who's suffering through any kind of heartbreak, specifically like romantic heartbreak, through it, being someone who's kind of out of that. And I'm just gonna kind of jump in. This video is basically going to be a source of guidance and comfort while going through a heartbreak. I'm going to be including clips that I have just kind of had in myself through the experience I went through in terms of dealing with heartbreak. I am 18 and I started kind of going through this when I was 15, 16. Long story short, I was in a very toxic relationship and it ended really, really badly. It was a long time ago, so now I feel like I am in a place where I can talk about it because I'm very moved on now compared to how I used to be. And I would always look up videos like this on YouTube, like advice for heartbreak, like looking for like the magic cure. I wish I had like some magic advice I could tell myself, a magic solution for going through something like this. But I do want to give a little disclaimer that this video is not going to magically cure you. Nothing is going to magically cure you. It will help guide you and maybe just point you in the right direction to like steps that you can take for healing. But unfortunately, there's nothing that can just fix this. But I do want to show you guys that I have literally been accumulating on my notes app tons of advice for this video, so I will be reading off this because I've just sort of written things down along the past like couple of years, or like throughout the time I was kind of dealing with this heartbreak, so that I could eventually put it in this video. I watched so many of these kinds of videos and TikToks and advice and like talk to so many people, and they can all help and like help you feel better, but don't expect them to just immediately heal you or make your situation better after watching them. This kind of pain can just be so painful that at a certain point you'll literally do anything to like get away from that just like emotionally crushing pain. So like you'll turn to videos like these and like want them to just like cure you, but that's unrealistic, so don't expect that. I'm making this video because heartbreak is so hard and is such a universal thing. I have said this in other videos, but I've never made like an actual video dedicated to just talking about heartbreak. Everyone's telling me it was the right decision, and I know it's the right decision, and I know I'm supposed to feel this way, but it is hell. And the reason it's taken me so long to film this video is just because there's been so many things and steps like along the way. This video isn't like about me and my own experience, it's more to help you guys out. But just for some backstory, I liked this guy for a really long time at the start of high school, and then we got involved, and then we broke up, and we got back together, and then it ended with a whole big cheating, manipulation, gaslighting thing at the end, and then it took me even longer to get over all of that. So I'm just telling you guys, I fully understand. Heartbreak is so hard, it's just so difficult, and it comes from so many different things. Long-term relationships, short-term relationships, being cheated on, being manipulated, being gaslit, situationships, unrequited love, certain crushes, being used, being lied to, being led on, someone not being who you thought they were. There's just so much that falls like under the scope of heartbreak, and it's such a difficult thing to get through, especially the first time that you're heartbroken, because it's just like this new feeling that you've never felt before. I've never felt this pain before. And trust me when I say that I understand this more than anyone. I've never been in more pain in my entire life. I truly, like, when I was really going through the trenches of it, I never thought I would get over it, or like even be in the place where like I could think I was over it. It feels like I'm never gonna stop crying. It hurts so badly. I can't don't do it. Like, I've never felt emotional pain like that in my life, and I just thought that nobody understood, that everyone just went through a breakup and then they were like fine like a week later, and I just felt very alone throughout the whole thing. Even though I had a ton of family and friends to talk to, it's still such an isolating feeling. Everyone's giving me advice and it's all really good advice, but the problem is that none of them were there and lived through it all. No one's gonna get it. I feel so alone. So first, I just wanted to say, like, if you clicked on this video, I am so sorry, and my heart goes out to you because I get it. It's really the worst, and I'm so sorry that you're going through it. It's hard to see right now, understandably, but these experiences are usually for the greater good, and they do help you grow as a person and lead you to where you are meant to get next. It's very hard to see that right now. I really hope that this is all somehow making me stronger. If you told that to me whenever I was like really upset or emotional about it, I would have been like, I hate you. The thing is, it's like, it doesn't matter what the other people tell me to do. Any advice, it doesn't change, it doesn't help, because I just miss how it was, and I miss the memories, and I want to make more, and I don't care about anything else, and I just want to see him, and I don't care about anything else. Things do not have to be like this. Heartbreak feels like a physical, like, sickening, ripping, crushing, like, clenching pain, and it can really, really affect you. My mom once said it's like swallowing a watermelon. It's like, my heart's been ripped out of my chest. I can't. It's like I sit here and I can't even cry. It hurts. I never realized it was like a physical pain. Like, it hurts. And it's really overwhelming, especially the first time. I thought that things would be so different, but I miss the beginning. I miss everything. I don't understand what happened. It's just the worst feeling, especially when you are misled. If I just immerse myself enough in my thought, I can project everything. I remember everything, and it was so perfect. But it was also so fragile because I knew it wouldn't last forever, and I wish I could go back. First love, first heartbreak, first rejection, and first breakups, it's all really hard. And I have to go to school and see him in the hall and pretend I hate him. I really do think I loved him. As pathetic as that might sound. That even though it was one-sided, I really do. It feels like just having, like, the longest day of your life. And then you have to go to, like, this person's house, like, at the end of the day to wait to, like, go home and get picked up. You're just there and waiting, and, like, the person's just not coming to pick you up. Or, like, you try to go home, but there's no home. How can you go from so happy with someone to this? It's like you're building a muscle for dealing with this pain. You've never dealt with this kind of pain before, so it's even harder because you've never been through it. Like, not only are you dealing with a breakup and just like that whole annoying process, but it's also the first time you're dealing with that, because your brain in a lot of ways can be compared to a muscle. You have neural pathways in your brain, and once you like someone and think of them, or just like your heartbreak, eventually it becomes like easier almost, because like your brain, like the neurons in your brain are used to kind of going down those pathways. It's literally all chemical and biological, so you actively have to work this person. I'm gonna say him because I was personally with a guy, but this obviously applies to anyone, whatever situation you're in. You have to actively work him out of your head a little bit each day. Like, you actually have to put the work in and like take your brain to something else to stop thinking about it. And I'm just gonna say, because I'm starting to like launch into the advice, it's not gonna take days, it's not gonna take weeks, it might not even take months. Sometimes it takes several months, sometimes it takes years, sometimes it takes a year, around a year, over a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, but I promise it's going to get a lot easier. I'm having one of those moments where it's like, it's sad, but it's less painful. You will turn a corner at some point, and it's not going to be the same kind of soul-crushing like depression and like constant emotions about it, and the amount of happier moments is going to grow little by little every day. I know it gets better, I know, but it really hurts right now. I'm really hoping that time heals this. Someone said this once, or I saw it online in the beginning, and I didn't really think it was true, but it is so true. It's not that the grief goes away, it's that things around it get so much bigger. So imagine your grief is like this angry little fist, and like your life is just like this little circle around it, okay? Eventually that circle's gonna be like this, and something like a breakup or losing your first love, or just like someone who you were in a relationship with, and like, you know, if you're going through it, you know the kind of pain I'm talking about. That's what I mean. This video is for someone who understands the weight of a heartbreak, so I don't really have to explain it to you. I can't even be mad at him, I'm just confused. And now it's like this, and I can't. I just feel sick. It's all gone, it's gone. I can't even breathe. I feel feel like a disease. Like I feel like just like this ball of misery, and every room I enter, it's just sad. Oh. That grief, my counselor, because I talked to my school counselor a lot when I was going through it. My school has this counseling program, and she once said something that's so helpful, and she said, you forever have the right to grieve this and grieve this relationship. I honestly feel like the biggest, not mistake, but just like thing that I would repeatedly fall into when dealing with my heartbreak and my breakup and trying to move on was the constant stress about, oh my god, I have to be moved on. It's been 2 months, or oh, it's been 6 months, or oh, it's been a year, and I'm still feeling this pain. It's just like you think you're over something, and then it just all comes crashing back, and it feels like the very beginning. But I have to remind myself that even though it doesn't feel like it, I'm so much different than I was even a month ago. You will move on when you're ready. You have to have trust in your own moving on process and stop putting so much pressure on yourself, and just take the steps to move on, but stop rushing it. I don't feel like I'm ever gonna be okay. It just feels never ending. It's like I wasn't in pain all week, and it just hit me. Everything tonight, it's just the most unbearable pain, and I don't know when it's ever gonna go away, because when it feels like it's gone, it just comes back and it hurts even more. Sometimes I constantly feel like I'm letting someone down with the way I feel, or not being strong enough, or being dramatic, but I feel stuck in the exact same place all the time. That anxiety and panic about like, oh, I'm not moved on, I should move on, is one of the hardest parts about heartbreak. But I'm just gonna start this video by saying, because you're probably looking for like the big grand solution by clicking on this video, you are just going to be taking it day by day and moving through it and improving a little each day. It really does get easier each day, and that's not to say that you won't have setbacks and like days where you just cry and look at old pictures and just feel totally depressed and you can't stop thinking about it. I haven't really looked at old texts in a while. I can't even escape it, because everything's a reminder. Everything. I can't even breathe if I think about certain memories. I thought crying would help me feel better, but it's just making me feel worse. I don't even know what to say. I'm just sad tonight. But day by day, week by week, it's going to slowly get easier, and you're gonna turn around and look back and think, oh my god, I am not the person I was when I was lying in bed crying about it all the time. I don't really know if I'm filming this for myself or a future video or something like that, but listen to me when I say it gets easier, it gets better, because in the beginning I had never been through pain like that. I'd never been through something like that. I'd never really been with anybody before, and just like the weight of all of that really took its toll on me, and I was really upset and depressed all the time. I just feel trapped in like a nightmare. Like it's been over 2 months. It never ends. Everyone's so happy and everyone's celebrating that it's over, and I'm just here, and I'm like, it's like I'm drowning. Like I'm slowly just sinking, and I'm just always alone in the way I feel. And it feels like everything's just sinking with me. Like I have a math test and a Euro test, and I'm gonna study, but I can't. I can't. I hate the way I feel. I need things to be good with him. He probably doesn't even miss me. He's probably just glad that I'm gone. I'm so stupid. I honestly regret letting it affect me so much, but it had to happen for me to get to the point I'm at now. Another counselor I spoke to had this piece of advice that I also really loved, and it was just, you're getting through it, not over it. That just really helped me, because it really is something that you're working through. You're not trying to like jump over it and avoid it. You can't do that. If you try to avoid your feelings, they're going to catch up to you at some point. It's impossible to fully repress your feelings forever. Even if they don't emotionally burst out of you, they're gonna manifest in other ways. You really have to work through it, especially those first couple weeks. You've got to really cry it out and be really upset and give yourself that time to really honor the grief of the heartbreak. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I can't believe it's over. It feels like everything is wrong. Everything is wrong. Everything is wrong. Every part of my day feels wrong and awful. I can't believe after everything is just over. I think the best thing you can do for yourself in this situation is just acknowledging that it's really hard. And it doesn't end because I either feel like I have to cry, or then I cry and I just feel like this disgusting numbness. Like it feels like there's nothing left to cry about, but it's just this like surrendering. It's like horrible. It's grieving. A really good movie that's actually my favorite movie that I would recommend for heartbreak is called Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. If you're an older teen, definitely watch this. If you're like a nostalgic person who clings on to memories, because a lot of the heartbreak is also like just that glorification period where you just replay all your memories over and over again, and it just drives you crazy. It's like I can project the memories in my head as I walk by places. It's like I can immerse myself in them so much. It's like I'm still in them, and it's like still happening. Like if I focus hard enough, it can still be. I think about these memories and it's like they're surrounded by this warm glow. The memories are just so hard for me. And I remember what it was like when it was just the opposite, when it was just happy. It's like there's like a permanent like image tattooed on my eyes. It's like little home movies they just play over and over and over. It's like they're like haunting. It's almost like I can like see them. Like I can see them and I can like be there. But even though I'm not there, just for like a few seconds. It's so weird. It's like I can think back to those good times, but they feel so cramped inside my head. I wish I could live it again. I think when we are heartbroken, our automatic instinct is to like jump to anything possible to make us feel better. Those have to be healthy things. A lot of the time, changing your look, not drastically or like in any bad ways, but changing your look or just refreshing yourself can really help. Like a month after the breakup, I got a haircut and I got my hair done. And also things I did throughout kind of like the last year where I cleared up my skin, I started going to the gym, I started eating healthier, I started working out more, and those were just things that helped me feel better and less like I was stuck in a rut over him. And it just really helped because it makes you feel like you're literally physically stepping out of the heartbreak. I think a lot of the reason it's such an isolating experience is because eventually when you talk about the same situation or the same person to people over and over again, even if they aren't annoyed, you're gonna start to feel like they're annoyed or they're judging you. And I know that everyone looks at me and they think, why isn't she over it? It wasn't even that long. You're that special. You're that important. Why isn't she over it? Why does she think she loved him? Why is she like this? What's wrong with her? It feels like every time I try to explain it, it's like it meant nothing. No one understands because no one lives it the way I did. And I don't know what to tell myself. You might feel like they're sick of hearing about it, but a lot of the time that might just be your own frustration for yourself not being over it. No matter what, my comments and DMs are always open. I'm always happy to talk about whatever you guys are going through with you guys. But a lot of the problem with why it's so isolating is that you think no one else gets it and that no one else has felt the way you do about this person or this situation. And that does actually have some truth because you lived it and that's your own unique experience and it's your own experience. It was your own relationship and your own like person that you felt this with. The problem is that no one else is ever gonna get it. People know I'm sad and they know I miss him, but they won't get it because they weren't there and they don't understand. And I feel like it's a constant test to like prove that it was special. But so many people have been through a bad heartbreak, and even if it wasn't like your exact situation, they still get how it feels. I had to remind myself a lot of the time that so many songs and books and movies and TV shows center around this because it is truly so universal. You just have to find those people that really understand what you're going through and who are going to be sweet and supportive in it. It's ironic because it's such an isolating experience, but everyone goes through it. So I think heartbreak is really ironic in a lot of ways. And I feel like when you go through a heartbreak, there's always that like, oh, well, what if they were just right person, wrong time? I personally think that each relationship you go through is meant to happen to lead you to where you are supposed to get to next. So you don't have to regret it or wish it never happened. They were the right person at the right time and they may no longer be the right person, and that's okay. Things change and that's okay. Someone who was right for you at a certain moment maybe was there to just help you learn something, and no matter how bittersweet that is, it still just might be the case. Maybe it could be just like this and still be okay because we did share that, we did have it. And it doesn't mean it's being crossed out. It's still there. You only regret it because of the pain it caused you, and there's always that question like better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all. Being happy like that was not worth it for all this pain. It just wasn't. I think that question poses a dilemma because sometimes you feel like the amount of emotional heartbreak that you went through was not worth the good memories or the lessons that it taught you. But truly, again, I'm saying all these things that I never like to hear in the beginning, but time does heal all. Not instantly cure or forget. I feel like you go into heartbreak with this unrealistic expectation that one day you're just gonna wake up, feel totally happy 100% of the time and forget the person and just like everything you ever went through with them. That's just not gonna happen. I'm just gonna tell you right now, you're still gonna think about them, but it's going to become less and less, and you're gonna become happier and happier over time, and it's just gonna become a part of your life and what happened, but it's not gonna be your entire life and what your whole brain is revolving around. Everyone is there for me and everyone wants to help and make it better, but all I want is him. I just want him. Like, I don't care if it's temporary, it would fix everything if I could just go there and hug him for a minute. It would give me at least a little bit of relief. It would give me a couple days of relief. No one understands this pain. It just never goes away. When you miss them, remember all of the crappy things that they did to you, because it really does help. I tell myself all the facts. He's lied to me, he's manipulated me, and he doesn't feel the same way as I do. There's so much wrong, but I can't see it that way. I just can't. Remind yourself as much as you can why it didn't work out and focus on why it ended, because it can be so easy to fall into like, well, why did it have to end? Like, things were so good in the beginning. It's just like I have to tell myself over and over again everything that went wrong, because I know what went wrong. I know why this didn't work out. I know what he did was horrible, but none of it compares to how much I miss him. It's like I can walk through the facts, but it's like the reasons, they aren't enough. It's like, why? How did it get to this point? Why was that bad enough? You have to physically train your brain to focus, to be objective. I don't know if I could say I feel better, because I don't know how I feel. Like, I honestly don't know how I feel, but I'm feeling generally overall better and a lot more clear-headed and a lot like further away from the situation. I think when you're really close to a situation, it's so much more emotional, and I get it. I 1000% understand. I sat at this desk and bawled and cried my eyes out. I genuinely can't even count the amount of times I cried. It was horrible. It was actually so bad. And that pain, like, I never want to feel that way again. Like, I still get that pain, and like, it's a gross, sickening reminder of how I felt. And there's this quote from this other really good movie I want to recommend to you to watch if you're going through a heartbreak. It's called Eat, Pray, Love with Julia Roberts. I love that movie, and there's this amazing quote in it that's like, Julia Roberts is going, well, I really miss him, and then the guy goes, so miss him, send him some light and love every time you think of him, and then just drop it. And it's true. You don't have to be bitter, you don't have to be resentful at a certain point. And honestly, if you're watching this right now and you're going through heartbreak, you might be a little bit on edge right now, because right now it's hard for you to trust people, because who knows, maybe the person that you are grieving lied to you, or maybe they didn't lie to you and everything just seems like a lie to you right now because you feel like if it was real, why did it have to end? And you're probably just doubting a lot of things right now. But please know that when I promise you this, I am promising you this. I am being authentic. I am not a liar. I went through being lied to. Trust me when I say it will get better. It will get so much better. No matter how long it takes, it will get so much better. You have to think of it as a really bad cut, and you have to think of it as something that's forming a scab, and then eventually it's gonna fall off, maybe leave a little mark, but it's eventually just going to fade and fade and fade away over time. I'm just never gonna get over this. I just cry every night now. That's just what I do. It just hurts. It hurts. It sickens me. It's nauseating. Literally a mess. I need to let it go because it is in the past. I feel like there's also that like thing, like when you get your heart broken, that you have to like get your revenge body and like glow up and like be so much better than them. But in the very beginning, you don't need to focus on yourself in that way when you're so exhausted from processing the hurt. You need to focus on yourself in the way that you're taking care of yourself and being kind to yourself. You don't need to better yourself when you're dealing with all kinds of crap in the way that you're thinking. Like, you can't be hard on yourself. You have to go easy on yourself. Time really does help though, every day that goes by. And I always hated when people said that, because sometimes even 3 months later I would feel like I was doing so much worse than 2 weeks after. Healing is so not linear. Healing is not linear at all. It is so up and down. It just goes like this. I go around all day and just come home and cry, and it's just so like long gone. Like, it's been almost 2 months. It doesn't stop hurting, and it feels like this weird dream. I know it was a while ago, and I know I'm insane, and I know I hold on to things that happened a long time ago. It's like this pain is never gonna go away. But eventually it's going to even out, and eventually it's going to be up, up, up. You're starting from really down, but it's gonna go up, 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 and then you're feeling better, and then it might go down a little bit, levels off, and then you feel a bit better, and like it's eventually just gonna keep going up from there. Like, I was genuinely bawling so hard, it felt like my heart was gonna jump out of my chest. Like, it hurt to cry that much, and all I wanted was to write him, and I was coming up with every excuse like of why I should write him, and I couldn't even bear the thought of him being out of my life. And it's so weird, like at this point, like, yeah, I'm sad about it, but it's nowhere near the same. It's like, it's upsetting, but I'm moving into new phases of my life. You need to give yourself time. The first few days are so horrible. They're heart-wrenching. Heartbreak is just so bizarre because you don't feel like you have control over your own mind or your own feelings. But something else that I always told myself that really helped was, you are not your feelings, you are the one who feels them. It's also just going to drive you crazy thinking about what you could have done differently. I feel like when we're going through something like that, we put so much blame on ourselves if there's anything else that you could have done. But honestly, a lot of the time that's just you trying to keep the connection alive. It's not just you who was in the relationship. It wasn't just up to you, and there was nothing else that you could have done. Things happened the way that they were supposed to, and the relationship ended because it was supposed to. And I feel like there's always that like myth of like closure and you want closure, but honestly there's never gonna be closure with anyone until you both are dead. Not to give you any ideas, what am I even saying? But closure is such a myth. The closure is the fact that it's over and you just have to accept that. And the reward is not getting them back or getting over them. I feel like sometimes in the past, like I thought like I did all the work, like I glowed up, I got my life together, like why can't I get back together with him now? That's not the reward. The reward is achieving that peaceful and happy feeling of getting yourself back. And I am honestly so much happier that I don't have to deal with that crap in my own life anymore. Everyone has gotten through painful heartbreaks and you will too. Take it from me.
I'm just filming this video now for me to hopefully watch one day, but it doesn't hurt as much anymore.
I will be so completely honest. I'm in a new relationship right now, but I still have hard days or hard moments, but it's less and it's just a different feeling. It's not as crushing. It's more just like a brief memory, or just like even honestly sympathy for my past self will pop up. It'll feel bittersweet for a moment, but then I just feel like I just kind of drop it and move on. There's so many complicated feelings that come with being heartbroken. Like a lot of the time you don't even want to move on because you feel like it'll show that like it wasn't even important to you. It's almost like I wanted to prove everyone wrong and like not get over it to show how much it affected me, which is so stupid and irrational, but it was just a way that I felt.
I think it's hard to let go of sadness. I do, because we don't want to be sad. Of course, no one wants to be sad, but I don't think when you're so sad about someone, I don't think necessarily you want to just be happy. You want to be happy again with that person. And I think a lot of times sadness can actually remind you of the person. And you know, like I'll listen to certain sad songs that I listened to right around the time when I ended things with him, and it makes me sad, but it reminds me of him and it reminds me of that time, and so I find comfort in it. Maybe being sad right now is what I need, what I want, and when I'm ready, I'll be happy again. And when I'm ready, I'll be happy without the person.
But you're also not going to listen to anyone else. You're not going to listen to your friends, and you're not even going to listen to me, because you truly just have to realize it for yourself.
I know that this is supposed to teach me something. It taught me. I get it. I just can't. Like, is this what people want me to be like? I don't want to go through this. I don't want to go through the healing. I just want him.
Some days will be good, some days will be bad. Don't expect every day to be good, but don't expect every day to be bad either. If you just broke up and you're having a really good day, great, then go enjoy your really good day. It's honestly just about kind of accepting that you're just gonna go along for the ride.
Having a bad moment does not erase any progress you made. You were happy all day, pretty much. You would not have been able to do that on Monday or Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday.
Because trust me, I know what that pain feels like. And a lot of the time, I'm not even heartbroken over what happened anymore. I'm just heartbroken for myself that I had to deal with that.
Like, I couldn't do it anymore. Like, he really ruined everything. Like, I couldn't even look at him knowing he like cheated. It was so bad. Like, it would never go back to this. Like, it would never go back to the same.
But it's genuinely like, it feels like your heart is being like ripped out of your chest. I promise you that pain does go away. It's just the initial pain, and you might still get twinges of it in the future, but it does go away.
I hope that one day I just don't feel this way about him, because it's just too painful to feel this way.
And honestly, resistance does nothing. Like, the more you try to tell yourself, I have to get over this, I have to get over this, I don't want to feel this way anymore, it's literally just like fighting a beast.
And it just never ends. Like, I cry every night. The nights I don't cry, I know I'll be crying the next night, because I can't go for a while without crying, because it makes me feel insane inside.
Accepting the way that you feel is the only thing that will help. I remember this one day, I don't really remember in what phase of like the whole relationship and breakup thing it was, but I remember going to see my counselor and I was having a bad day, and I said to her, I've just accepted the fact that I'm never going to get over this. And she surprised me so much. She looked at me and she said, good, now the real work begins, or something like that. But once you just kind of lay down and accept the way that you feel, it really does help you get through it so much, even though that seems almost like a paradox. It's really gradual, and the memories are eventually not painful all the time, but you'll pass by a place you went, or you'll think of a memory and you'll smile at it instead of crying over it. You'll think, oh yeah, I did that with them, that happened, didn't work out, but that was nice. I always had this unrealistic expectation that like you had to forget to move on, which is why you should really watch Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I love that movie. But no, you don't have to forget. You're always gonna think of the people that you were with. I bet that if you took a random person off the street and asked them about their ex, they're still gonna be able to tell you about them. It's so unrealistic to think that I would have woken up one day and just like magically forgotten about him. It's less about that. It's more that you'll feel like you can breathe again just thinking of the memories with them. I also want to tell you that you don't have to delete everything if that's just gonna be really traumatic for you, especially as a nostalgic person myself. I could not delete everything. I still have old pictures and old texts just for memories, because I'm a nostalgic person who wants to remember my life. You're not a robot and you can't realistically take all of that advice, like just delete everything, like cut them totally out of your life. Forgive yourself for looking at old pictures, or forgive yourself if you slip up and you reach out and you contact them again. You really cared about this, and you really cared about the person and the relationship, and that is why you're feeling so heartbroken right now. So go easy on yourself. Don't purposely do things that you know are gonna hurt you more, but just go light on yourself.
I just always feel horrible. I don't know, it feels like it's the first time I'm crying, and I don't even necessarily know if it's like when you're trying to fall asleep at night and you just can't.
Healing is just natural. Like, what I've learned is you can't force or rush feeling better. It's just something that's gonna have to happen to you naturally over time.
I think I've entered a new phase where like I could still cry about it, but like I don't need to.
You're going to wish that you could have gone back and fixed something, but there's this quote that my mom has told me that she heard from someone, and it is, if it is the right person, you can't do anything wrong. If it's the wrong person, you can't do anything right. And it's as simple as that. There is no such things as would-haves or could-haves or should-haves or maybes or what ifs. What you are living in is what happened, and you have to accept that you did not know what was gonna happen next. And something that I always thought in the back of my mind when I was really going through it was almost like all of my healing was just sort of a step to like get back to him and make it work with him.
I should hate him, but all I want is to make it work.
Even though I didn't want to admit to myself that I would have gone back with him even after everything that he did to me, I still would have gotten back with him.
And it's about to be really over. I don't think I'm ever gonna speak to him again after this. It's like he can't, like, I keep just thinking to myself, like, I'll go through this pain for a little while and then he'll come back and like say, oh no, I actually want to be with you and I'm ready now. Or even just contacting me or reaching out, and it's like, I see just, are we just never gonna speak to each other again? Like, I don't understand how a person can just be out of your life entirely. It's insane. Like, even at this point, I'll admit, I would still love to see him. And if he came to pick me up right now, I would love to repeat the past, but the past isn't gonna repeat itself. I don't care what people say. If he came back, it would make me better. It would make it better. I would give anything.
And you might really be hoping for that right now, that you're gonna get back with that person one day, and like, take it from me, that hope really isn't good.
I hope it's just the most destructive thing ever, but at least it feels better than just that pain.
I think, yes, it's always possible to get back with a person or to talk to them again or see them again, but you have to remind yourself that it ended for a reason, and if you got back together, your problems are still going to be your problems because you're still the same people, and it wouldn't undo how much they hurt you, and it wouldn't undo the heartbreak that you went through or anything that you learned.
Just knowing what I know now, and after everything that I've dealt with and felt, it's so far gone. I wish things were still the way they were a month ago.
So it's okay to have hope, but it's also, you have to incorporate realism into that and be realistic and realize that it won't magically fix anything, even if it does happen.
But I think something that I'm learning is that even if you could go back, you couldn't erase everything you've learned. It's impossible to go back to something, and I would know so much more now. I'm different, I'm stronger, and I'm just different. I forgot how bad this hurts.
I do think it's important to not have regrets, and it's important for the moving on process to be proud of yourself and how you handled it. So if you truly feel like you need to say your piece one last time to fully move on, go ahead and do it. Sometimes the resistance can make it even worse. What I've always hated is like, there's so much pressure that comes from a breakup and a heartbreak. It's like there's a timeline, which is so stupid. Like, you're allowed to be upset.
I am so sick of feeling like I'm not allowed to be upset.
Whatever you went through is your own process, and you know yourself better than anyone, and you're gonna think you're over it, and then you're gonna cry again, and you're gonna then think that you're never gonna feel better, and then you're gonna have a good week again. It's so up and down. But honestly, if you've seen throughout this video, I sprinkled videos like in throughout that I would film of myself. Haven't done that in like over a year. Something that really helped me is documenting my progress, because I feel like I would look back on it and be like shocked and be like, how could I have felt this heartbroken? And it really makes you realize how far you've come.
Like, I really looked at it, like tonight I realized I looked at those videos and I have made a lot of progress.
But just for like some, I guess, more short-term pieces of advice, just change some things about yourself, or like improve on yourself in some ways. Once you're at that certain point where like you're kind of restless, you've been feeling sad for a while, cut your hair a bit, or change your room, paint your nails, take yourself shopping for some new pieces of clothing, go discover your new favorite coffee drink, try a new hobby. Just moving forward in those little small ways. It was honestly the little things that would really help me a lot. Just like a nice good day with my mom or my friends, or like a new haircut that really helped, or like just a new shirt that I liked, or like having coffee. Like, you'll really start to appreciate the little things. That's what I love about heartbreak, and what's really cool. You can look at it as such a positive thing. It's all about your mindset. If you're constantly thinking this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me, that's what your brain's gonna think. But something really cool about heartbreak is that it really made me appreciate little things and just little happy moments that I had with people around me, or just things in my life. It's a really transformative experience. And something else that really helped me was writing. Like, I wrote so much, I journaled so much, because it's literally getting what's in your brain out onto onto paper. It was just like really therapeutic for me. Any hope related to the person you're thinking about is very destructive. Have hope for yourself that things are going to start to feel better. You can kind of just manipulate and mold that hope into something else. I'm literally going to read this paragraph that I wrote in my notes app directly from it because I feel like I just worded it well and I don't want to have to like keep looking down and talking to you guys. I'm literally going to read what I wrote. I don't remember when I wrote this, but it is so true. I always felt so mortified. Like I thought that it was so mortifying to still care and be upset after time had gone by when he probably did not care at all anymore. And I even thought if he knew, he would think I'm crazy for still being upset. I just wished I was different and could be normal, but caring and loving so deeply and intensely isn't a bad thing. These things that we think are bad about ourselves seem like that in our minds because they're putting us through pain, but they are beautiful qualities that just haven't been appreciated by the right people. Also, you can't assume how someone else feels. They might care, but how they feel doesn't have anything to do with you and the way you feel, so don't base how you should feel on them. It's normal to care. I'm just gonna let you sit with that for a minute.
He just doesn't care. And I know that to him, I am not as important as he is to me. I still care, which is why I'm not over it, and I accept that I'm not over it. But it really is hard when you need someone and they don't even want you. I have to care about myself more than I care about this relationship.
I honestly felt so twisted for this too, but it's honestly such a bittersweet feeling when you start to kind of stop feeling that kind of pain. You're almost going to hate when the pain starts to go away because it is like your last connection to them in the whole relationship. It's gonna just fade away more and more.
I just think I've come really far, and I'm not the same person as I was. And all day I'm just praying and hoping that somehow maybe I'll have a dream tonight where it's like it was, so at least, even though I know I'll wake up and that horrible feeling will crash over me, at least for a few seconds it will be like I feel like it was. It feels like it didn't even happen. And I'm not gonna remember it forever. And I wish I just had it so I could just replay it over and over again.
And if you truly are no contact and don't talk to them anymore, it's almost gonna feel like they died in some weird way.
He's like gone. It's like he died. It's like he's just gone. This pain and this yearning tied me to him, and it feels like it's going away. And I don't know what to do next. I don't know what to do after this once it goes away. I'm glad that I'm healing, but at the same time, I never wanted to have to do this.
But this part of the grieving process is normal, so don't beat yourself up about that.
You don't do something unless it brings you some sort of happiness or like something fulfilling, or if it means something. So the pain that you're feeling and this like holding on, you're still doing it because it's still serving some purpose in your life. We hold on to the pain and we don't want to let go, even though we're like, yeah, I just want to be over this, I just want to let go. Do you really want that? Because then once the pain is gone, and once you've let go, what's next? Because then they're really gone. And then that whole part of your life with them, that you associate with them, the version of yourself with them, it's gone. I think a lot of the time, we secretly still want to be going through the pain, and we still want to be holding on and going through this mental torture because it keeps us attached to the person, to our past, to what we don't want to change. I think the reason we hold on to things is because we're so used to them and because we are scared of what comes after we let go of them.
When you really need comfort, like in those like really like dark moments of the comfort that you need is because like you're going crazy because like you think they're gone. If this is just a breakup or ending things and they didn't die, then you can remind yourself that they're still alive and there's still a person out there, and you can remind yourself like they're still out there, they're still being themselves. So if you really do need them and need to talk to them, that option is always there.
The only thing that makes me a little happy right now is knowing maybe in the future, maybe somehow he'll change his mind and maybe things will just get better and he'll write me.
One of my counselors also said something to me once that like really stuck with me. It feels almost like when you end a relationship or like you're upset and heartbroken about that, it's like it's over, it's ended, it's completely gone. But to be a nerd for a second, energy is never created or destroyed. Energy is more just transformed. So you still have a relationship with them in some way, it's just kind of taken on a new form. Now you guys aren't in each other's lives. You did serve a purpose in each other's lives. You'll have always been a part of each other's lives. It's just kind of taken on a new form. That can also, I feel like, help and be comforting. Also, you're allowed to write them. You're allowed to do whatever you want. There are no rules. It's just not great to break no contact. It really is a setback. Sometimes it isn't best to break things off drastically. It can be kind of traumatic. If you feel that you can stay friends, then do that. Sometimes it's not up to you. Like that's how it was in my case. Like it was just kind of such a bad situation that we were just totally cut out of each other's lives, which was for the better, but that can be really difficult. But trust me, like I get the way your brain is working right now. Like I wanted to like detach and get totally over it so that he could sense that I moved on and then come back to me. Like your brain will go through so many weird thought processes, but something that really delayed the process, it was really just truly rushing the way that I felt felt and feeling like it wasn't normal or okay to feel that way, and I felt like I was being dramatic. So let me just tell you, it's okay to feel whatever you're feeling, and also if you didn't feel this way before them, it's not you, it's literally the two of you. It takes two. But, and I'm more gearing this towards you, is because you do need to separate from that person at a certain point and make this journey of healing about yourself and not about them, because breakups and heartbreak weirdly usually dig up a lot of your own issues that are making the heartbreak worse, or any insecurities. Like, it kind of just bring like all the ugliness out into the open. So focusing on ourselves and what we need is very important to do when going through this emotional pain. And when I say time heals all wounds, I don't mean to be like, oh, it's been enough time, like you need to feel better. It might just not have been enough time for you. There's nothing wrong with you. You might think like certain things, like the time going by might make you even more upset because it feels like you're getting further and further away from it and all the memories. That's normal too.
And I rationally know that he's not the be all end all, and that there's nothing wrong with me. It has nothing to do with me.
But you can really learn about yourself and other people and life experiences when you go through heartbreak or emotional pain like that. It can really be an interesting experience if you look at it that way. Like, for example, something I learned about myself is I really hate change, and I'm a really nostalgic person. And that doesn't even necessarily have to do with the guy that I was so heartbroken over. It's just something that kind of, I guess, made it worse for me. And it's just things like these that you can kind of realize about yourself, be aware of, and work on. Also, holding it in makes it so much worse. Learn to not think of crying as a bad thing. Sometimes I would literally make myself cry to feel better. And I feel like I'd always like think of a memory and then be like, no, don't think about that right now.
It kills me to think about.
Sometimes just give yourself literally just time to like sit and reminisce and think about the memories. This is just the way I feel, and I'm accepting that. My mom just sent me this text because she knows I'm upset, and she said that without pain you can't heal, and it's really true. You've got to just process it. You don't need to forget it. It's more just being at peace with what happened and the way that it ended, and just kind of leaving the memories where they exist and feeling less desperate, like you have to like fix something or go back to the past or change something. I don't have the desperation anymore, like that desperation of like I need to like write him or call him. Like, it's still there, that feeling is still there, it's just nowhere near as like intense. It's just kind of annoying at this point. It's just like always there, but it's not like I was bursting into tears every night, and now it's like it would take a lot more for me to start crying. And something else I'm going to read for you, it's a want, not a need. I didn't listen, but right now you want them, you don't need them. You want them, and that's totally okay, but you don't need them. I think I saw this in another heartbreak advice video. You want this person, you don't need them, and you're gonna be totally okay on your own. Since you're also probably gonna like really want to talk to them when you're going through heartbreak, film videos of yourself talking to them, like anything to not break that no contact if that's what you need to get over it. I think my life has moved on, and what I'm doing keeps going, but the way I feel about you, it just never changes. I just wish that we could be together, but we can't. I just want to talk to him already. It's hell. Every part of me right now just wants him. It's times like these my phone should be taken away from me. I can't have him. Just picturing like calling him, and I need him. But I have to tell myself I can't do that, because when I'm not upset like this, I know that it's better. This is something I have to fix on my own. What I wish I did more of in the beginning was meditation. I did this one really helpful heartbreak meditation. I'll try to find it and link it down below. I'm also gonna put song suggestions, like really good songs for each phase of healing from heartbreak, down below in the description. Also, I feel like I glorified the time that I was with him so much, like so unnecessarily, and I feel like something that could really help with that is make a list of all the good things that have happened when you weren't with him or whoever you're heartbroken over. But also, it's all about a balance and all about finding what works for you. If you constantly treat yourself like you're broken or you're healing or you're upset all the time, that isn't good. I saw this on TikTok, but you can't heal if you're constantly reminded that you're broken. Just think of yourself as a work in progress. Here's the thing that no one says. They're like, love yourself. Well, why? Like, why would you like just automatically love yourself? I think that the hugest thing that like I had to realize for myself, I never really saw this online, was like, learn to love yourself because you've been there for yourself. You're there for yourself. You're comforting yourself. You just don't even realize it, but you're always there. You're always there to be there for your emotions and feelings. Self-love is so important. You can't be like so like hating yourself for like what happened or the way that you feel. You need to appreciate and love yourself and find comfort in yourself. I just wish I could cry to him about him. Just cry to him about everything he's ever done to hurt me. He said sorry so many times. He's apologized. He's acknowledged exactly what he's done and how much he's hurt me and how much he's put me through. But that doesn't change the fact that it happened. I was hurt.
this much. I am still hurt. And an apology, it's not enough. Like, why can't he be there to help me? Something I realize is he's not sitting there comforting you while you're crying about this, about him. You're comforting yourself. You just don't realize that right now. You're wanting him to comfort you, but who gets you to stop crying? Yourself. They hurt you. Why aren't they fixing it? You gotta do that for yourself. And not only that, but why would you want someone back around who wasn't there to help you through it? It's sickening to me, actually. It really sickens me how much he hurt me and how much he knows he hurt me and everything that he did. And then he just completely like let me take him out of my life.
You deserve so many good things. Like, I feel like a lot of the thing that like I did in the beginning especially was I felt like I needed him to make me feel better. I've like placed my ability to feel like comforted on him. It's like the only way I can see it is seeing him as a genuinely nice person, and I just have too much sympathy. I need to see him. I don't care what people say. It feels like no one can fix this but him. It will fix it. It will help. It will help me in that moment. God, I just want to talk to him about it. It feels like he's the only person who can fix this. I just can't. I'm trying. I can't. But at a certain point, something that really helped me was removing my brain from thinking about him comforting me and thinking I have been the one who has been there for myself through all of this. Like, I am always going to be there for myself, and all I need to feel better about this is myself and my own brain. I've been here comforting myself since I ended it with him, and he hasn't been there for me, and he hasn't reached out for me, and I've been there for myself, and I've been picking up myself. So I feel like I can rely a lot more on myself now. Once you get that and repeat that to yourself, it really does help. I'm also literally gonna read this right off my note for my notes app. Taylor Swift said this, and I chose to film with all my Taylor Swift stuff in the back because her songs and just her in general really helped me move through it. Taylor Swift said this, but when we lose things, we gain things too. And it takes accepting this to feel a lot better. When you lose someone, it is devastating. You're losing them in your life and their presence and the connection, but you're gaining a new part of yourself and new wisdom. I do believe heartbreak happens for a reason. If I hadn't gotten my heart broken, I never would have met the new version of myself that is less dependent on other people's comfort and is happier with my own comfort. You're learning so much about yourself and about relationships and pain in life. Also, I gained just so much. Like, I could get into this in a whole other video, but I gained the best friends and just so many new good things about myself just through going through this heartbreak. Like, it kind of had to happen through this video. My goal is just to make you guys feel less alone and to assure you that you guys are going to be okay. Comment your experience if you're going through it, and we can all swap stories in the comment section. I feel like that's something else that really helped, was like reading what other people were going through, because I would also just love to give you guys advice and help out for your own individual situations in the comments, or you can DM me on Instagram. I just want to tell you one last time, you're going to be okay. Trust the process. Seriously, trust the process. I am so proud of all of you guys, and I know that you guys are all going to get through it, and one day you will be sitting in the same place that I am right now. And that's not to brag. I still have my moments, but you will get here, I promise.